What's going on, Greg?
Hey, Michael, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I got your sticker and I love it. It's on my refrigerator, or it was on my refrigerator, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm still trying to add Jim on, but I haven't really heard from him since, what was it, like half hour ago? So I'm still trying to wait for his response. So we might be running the show for a little bit, maybe a little bit longer tonight, just in case he ever pops up at some point.
No problem. I'm here for you. And, I'm glad to be on your show. I enjoy watching it on Thursday nights, and I really appreciate you bringing us in tonight.
Nice. So you said this is your first time using StreamYard before?
This is my first time ever on the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, here he is. All right, I see that Ed just joined us. How's it going? How do I get on? Let me just send you the link, and hopefully we can get you on. Let's see. There we go. All right. There we go. So what kind of things do you have to share with us tonight while we're waiting?
Well, as you know, we just restarted our company, Santa Clairita Railroad, and we are designers and manufacturers of different model railroad products, tools to be exact. Our main line is the original handy holder, which we started in 1999. And we just revamped all our different products, ranging from N scale, HO, O, and G scale. And we're going to show you our products tonight. And we have a bunch of stuff that's in the design phases right now for track gauges and carrying boxes for people who like to take their trains to train shows and rail clubs. So those will be out in the next couple of months. But tonight we're going to showcase our handy holders.
Very nice. So Jim, once again, make sure to click on the link that I send you on Instagram, and I'll be able to add you on. So I see you got a little something in your handy holder over there. You want to tell us about what engine you're currently working on?
You know, it's funny. I don't have a train set as we speak. I had a G-scale train set for many, many years. I had 400 feet of track that was all outdoors at my last house. And I don't have a current set right now. So I've been out gathering all different scales of trains from train shows and online in different places. And so I've got a collection of trains that I've just purchased in the last 5 months during this design process. And so I don't know exactly what I have, to be honest with you. But this one is obviously an O scale, if you can see it. This is the same handy holder that I sent you that hopefully you're using. This is a brand new, out of the box, war bonnet. And I got this from online from a lady that lives right near me. I just happened to see the advertisement online, and she had a whole set of these, including 4 passenger cars. I think you could probably see them above that picture above me, that airplane picture. They're up on a track I put up there. But they're all 25 years old, but they're brand new. They were never out of the box. So I was really excited to get them, and it's part of my new collection. And we had to buy all these trains to make sure they fit in all the new redesigned handy holders. So that's how we got them. So we'll go over all these a little bit later. Let me turn this the right way. But anyway, so it fits real nicely in this handy holder with the tool holders. Have you had a chance to try yours?
Multiple times, actually. So it was, I just don't really know what else to say other than I'm really satisfied of what you guys were able to accomplish with not just the handy holders, but everything that's been going on with your company lately.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really been fun. I'm really glad to be back into the model trains. Now I have to decide what scale that I want to create for myself, because now I'm opened up to all these different scales. My wife loves N scale. I love G scale. So we may have a combo train set one day.
Very cool. All right, guys. So the main man of the hour is waiting on us. So let's not keep him waiting. So without further ado, I bring you our good friend, Jim.
Hey, guys.
What's going on, Jim?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I'm doing great. Nice to see you, Jim.
Yeah, I finally figured out how I had to enter into this. It took me a minute, but but I'm here. I made it.
I know sometimes, once in a while, it's not really the easiest thing to do once you're starting to get started. Yeah, can't speak tonight. I know it can be a little complicated once you're starting to get into doing something like this for the first time. But then once you start getting more and more, once you start using this app a little bit more and more, it starts to get a little bit easier to understand.
Oh, yeah. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Doing all right?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, Greg, I heard you right before I came in about deciding between G scale and N scale. You can't find a happy middle at O scale.
Well, you know what? I didn't know much about O scale before I started designing these new handy holders. Now I know more than I thought I'd ever know, and I really like them. I really do like O scale.
Yeah,
we'll see.
You know what? At the end of the day, with this hobby, it really doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, I am an O scale guy, but I enjoy looking at N scale, HO, and G scale, especially G scale outside. So it's a fun hobby to be in right now. And you have a product right now that obviously is catering to all the scales.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Have you had a chance to put yours on the bench?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I actually put mine into use, I think within 24 hours at my train club. And I did a short video. I actually changed out some traction tires on one of my SD24s, and I found it, amazing. I like the foam. I like the wood base. It doesn't slip. I like the fact that my tools can stay, right there in place. So I find it, this is something that everyone should have in their collection, especially if you're someone, who's handy and likes to work on their products themselves.
I agree.
Jim, I was going to add to that. We've got quite a few people that are sending us messages. They're using it for we call it on deck. So when they take their Shelf Queen O scale train off the shelf, they have a place to put it before they put it on the track.
Right.
So I've got people buying multiples of them. They'll buy 3 or 4 of them so they can take their Shelf Queens off the wall and have a place to put them safely before they switch them out on the track.
Yeah. That's actually a great idea to have multiples of these. Yeah, you know what? You got me thinking now.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, absolutely. But, like I said, changing out of traction tires or soldering, a wire for a speaker to work or working on a smoke unit, you know, it's nice that you have something that can hold the, you know, the engine or the rolling stock, and it's not going to slip around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, do you mind if I show a couple of products?
Be my guest.
All right. So we've got a couple things in the works that we haven't presented yet. And this is our detailer. And this will also work as a trackside on deck, as we call it, to get ready. But you're able to have your at the perfect angle. And we had a couple of guys that do weathering design the angle of the channel for us. And this is great for either hand brushing or airbrushing. We recommend that you put a cloth over it or a paper towel or something before you start using any kind of paints or solvents or whatever. But this will be introduced shortly. And as well as, you can't really do this on the bigger O and the G because they're already so big to ship. But what we're doing on the smaller ones is we're incorporating that angled channel for detailing, including an area for your locomotives. So we do have a bunch of designs in progress right now, and for detailing for what we call on deck again. And we do have them in all of them in N scale, HO, O, and G scales.
Very nice. And by the way, I actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did hear that you guys just reached a milestone of selling over 200 of those whatchamacallit, those
handy holders
or cradles, as I like to call them. Is that correct?
Well, thanks to you guys being our first influencers on O scales, we sold over 200 units in the first 7 days. And now it's been, will be 12 days today, actually. So we're moving along nicely. We've got a bunch of train stores across the country that have reached out to us and want to know about shipping and so forth. Problem is that some of them are large, like the G scale is pretty big. So this is our original G scale from 1999, and
wow.
obviously this is a brand new one, but with the same wood base, same feet on it. But this is 21 inches long. This is a big unit, and it will hold. It'll hold all your G scales, and that's why we put the wood base on, is so they didn't collapse, and you can pick them up and carry them around your train set. And that's why the original one did not have a wood base or feet. And that's why we included it now, because the O scale, some of those are pretty large, as you know, also, and pretty heavy. So we did the larger scales with the wood base.
Very cool. Now, considering that one is G scale, do you think it might be possible, if you're a standard gauge collector, could that possibly work for standard gauge as well?
It could, but it's not going to hold it. It's not, they're all made. We did a lot of testing and a lot of measuring, and we had a lot of input from different people, different scales people. And we made them so they weren't too tight, so you wouldn't chunk off the foam as you were inserting your cars in them. Mm-hmm. But we made them tight enough where they hold it so it's not moving when you're working with it, with your tools. So yeah, you can do anything with it. You could also put a rag in there and take up a little bit of space and put a different scale in there. There's lots of things you can do, but we do recommend that you cover the unit with a cloth or with even a paper towel if you're doing any kind of painting or solvents.
That's understandable. So guys, I know this is still kind of new to you both, but just in case that you guys aren't really familiar with some of my live streams, I know that Greg is here, but Jim, I know that you're still kind of new to this. So
I'm a rookie.
Cool.
I'm a rookie.
That's actually good to hear. I mean, first time I ever had a rookie on the channel before.
Yeah. I mean, I am by no means a rookie to the hobby. I can speak to trains, for quite some time, but this technology though is just amazing.
And surprisingly, you two are actually the this is actually the first live stream where I've ever had like 2 guest stars on with me before. So
Okay.
definitely an A+ for today's
Yeah.
episode. But
you know,
anyway,
I lost the sound for a second, and common sense said to leave and come back, which I did. And I just wanted to say to Greg real quick, you know, the handy holder for airbrushing is just fabulous, because I would say in the last, let me see, I'm going to say in the last 3 to 6 months, I have gotten into only wanting to run weathered trains now, because it just seems more realistic than running them straight from the manufacturer. And I'm even talking about weathering rolling stock that already has graffiti on it, but it just doesn't look right. There's no such thing as a brand new, fresh painted, you know, boxcar. It's still got to have some weathering on it. So I'm actually looking forward to that angled cradle.
Well, I will put an order in because we've already got it designed and we got the CAD drawing for it. So I wanted to do a couple of these shows and meet a couple of you big timers and get the word out there. So I can place an order, and because I ordered a couple thousand units, and foam takes up a lot of space, and so I've got a small warehouse completely packed, and we're moving it. But before I order some new we call them channels, we will it'll be soon, very soon.
Good.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure before I forget that there is a 15% off code that's going to be good from tonight through tomorrow night at midnight, and it's SSRR15. And so when you go on our website, SantaClaritarailroad.com, if you put in that code SSRR15, which is SCRR, Santa Clarita Railroad 15, SCRR, to our website, you'll get 15% off any of your purchases. So if you order one or multiple, we will ship them out within a couple hours of your ordering, and we guarantee them that you'll love them. And anyway, so that's tonight's promotion for anybody that's watching.
And I will take it a step further, since I'm constantly posting videos. I will do a plug in one of my videos tomorrow.
Fantastic. I'll do something for you, and I'll send it over to you. So
just send me something to my DM, and I'll make sure I post the right code for this.
I'll make sure that I post the right code.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so that'll run through tomorrow night at midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Michael, later on, when you get to it, we're going to talk. I would like to just spend 1 minute talk about a couple of the products that we're designing right now. So let me know when it's a good time, but I'll just spend a minute on that.
Definitely. But anyway, getting back to what I was mentioning before. So usually what I like to do is mostly when I do running sessions on my live streams, I like to stay on for like at least an hour and a half to maybe like 2 hours or so. But Jim, I understand that you might have to leave like a little bit early, considering you only agreed to like an hour or so. So I definitely respect that. Yeah. But anyway, another thing that I usually always like to do on these videos is like a Q&A. You know, I also like to get to know each other like a little bit better. And as always, just to, basically have fun with it.
Okay. I will see how long my wife lets me stay on.
Oh boy. Don't want to mess with wife.
Yeah.
No. You're too young to know. How would you know?
Yeah. Trust me. Once you start, let me start again. Trust me. Once you start living with my family, you'll understand how easy it is to understand relationships like that.
Got it.
All righty.
Got it. Sounds good.
Yeah. But trust me, don't ever underestimate me when it comes to that stuff. Like I was saying too, what's his name a couple of weeks ago? Just make sure to ask the Love Guru about that. But anyway,
that's what I used to call myself, but I gave up on that. My wife told me to quit calling myself that.
But anyway, Jim, I understand that you're like a main member of the New Jersey High Railers Club. So do
Yeah.
you think you could tell us a little bit more information about that, and how long you've been a member of the club and how it came to be?
Sure thing. I have been a member for over 17 years, and it's actually a good story. Um, One of our club members, father and uncle, are the building owner, and the member was into trains, and he befriended a modular club, and they ended up needing a space to put their modular set, and it ended up being in his father's old silk mill in Paterson, New Jersey. And that ended up turning in from a modular club into the father giving him the whole room, which, as most know now, this room is probably, I mean, the layout itself is 186 feet long by about 50 feet wide, give or take. So you can imagine this is a massive room. And for the son to get this room, to build a club layout in it's just an amazing story. And I know I did a live stream with Ben about 2 weeks ago, and I found out some more information. Number one, we have 81 members, and I thought it was 51 members. So I apologize on that. But the club I think, has been in existence since, and I might be corrected on this, but I'm almost positive it's been since 2005. So it's been around for a while. We have regular club nights on Wednesdays. I don't make every Wednesday because of my work schedule, but club nights are every Wednesday from about 6 until, let's say, 9 or 10. You do have to put in approximately 8 hours a month of work on the club layout, which is actually fun to do. The 8 hours is not necessarily on Wednesdays. It can be whenever. We have electrical, we have track cleaning, we have obviously maintenance for switches. We have I'm drawing a blank on decorations. We call it something else. For our for the landscape that we do. So I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's a true train club, and there's always something that needs to be done.
Hey, Jim, how does a club like that work? Do you bring your own trains and run your
Oh,
trains?
well, funny you should mention that. That's the easy part, because we all have trains.
Sure.
So we're in the process right now of getting new cabinets. We originally had old bookshelf cabinets that we used to put our trains in. And in the live that I did a couple of weeks ago, we are transitioning into much bigger cabinets. So the answer to your question is yes, we have our own trains. We have our own lockers. Some full-time members obviously have 24-hour access to the facility. So yeah, you don't need to have your own trains, but most of the folks who join do have their own trains.
I can imagine. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That layout's amazing.
Yeah. Big boys with toys.
Big money.
Yeah, it's a crazy number of how much scale engines and rolling stock are in that room. What else about that layout? The layout has, I believe it's 78 square miles of scale track.
Wow.
Our largest line is our red line, which I think takes approximately 5 minutes to go around one time. I mean, obviously, if you want to highball it, you can do it a little bit quicker, but that just shows you how long it takes to go around one of our lines.
Amazing.
We have 8 main lines, which are all color coded. So we have a red line, a blue line, a green line, a white line, an orange line, and a yellow line. So as you can imagine, we can run a multitude of trains at one time. And then at one of our ends, we have a section that is strictly for subways. So we really do cater. Some other cool aspects of the club. We have the Tom Schneider tin plate layout at our club as well. That was donated after he passed away.
The legendary layout.
The legendary layout, absolutely. And we also have, if you were a Sopranos watcher, when Bobby got killed at Train World, we have the layout that he was actually killed on.
Really?
Because Bobby
Really?
was into trains on The Sopranos, and he used to go into Train World of all places, and he actually bought trains. He brought them home into his garage, and then as the show progressed, he ended up getting killed at Train World, and dying on a train layout, and we have that layout at our club as well.
I have to look that up because I've
Yeah.
seen all the memes on that, but
Yeah.
I've never watched the show and I didn't know what that was about.
Yep.
And so now I'm going to check that out.
I never watched the show either, but I've definitely
Yeah.
seen clips of that particular moment.
Yeah. So I think even Train World has a couple of clips of when he was in the store, and they also had the clips obviously when he got shot and fell on the layout and broke the layout. And it's just actually, you could probably YouTube the Bobby Bacula death scene on The Sopranos.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I also know that Train World also has like a sign in the front of the window that makes, that lets everybody know about that particular moment that happened on TV.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Correct.
Very
But
cool.
yes, we have that layout. So the other aspects, we typically do open houses starting in October that go through February. It's kind of tough to do open houses, this time of the year, because like I said, this is an old silk mill and the building is terribly warm. It's on the 3rd floor. We can air condition the room, but it takes a long time to cool off. So it is definitely, something that we do in the fall and winter.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question from Ed that's asking Jim, do you know or run into Corey at the train club?
Absolutely.
He's into the subway trains.
Right. So the answer is yes. As a matter of fact, I had a gentleman who's been weathering a couple of my trains come down from Lancaster, PA, this past Saturday. And he wanted to see the club layout, and I told him I had access. So instead of him shipping me my trains, he drove down and he got to see the club up close and personal. And it also turns out that day, not only did we have, his name's Matt Weaver, not only did we have Matt there that day, but we also had some people who were visiting from Australia. So a couple of other club members showed up, and we ran some trains for these visitors. So the answer to the question is yes. I was actually running trains with Corey this past Saturday.
Now, getting back to Matt for just a second, he's not related to Bob Weaver, is he?
No, you know what? That was one of the first questions I asked him. So he has no relationship to, Weaver Trains whatsoever. Because when I found out he lived in Lancaster, PA, and the last name Weaver, I was starting to think that he had some relation with the old Weaver Trains, but no, not at all. And I'm truly encouraging Matt to get his LLC and his website up, because he does do amazing artwork, and he uses natural paint, no stickers or anything. So what I'm also going to do for Matt is, he brought down some of his trains. I ran some of the engines that he weathered for me. And this was my first weathering of engines ever. And I did a couple of videos, which I'm going to obviously post real soon, and obviously give him a shout out, for him to hopefully get some business that way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are going to be all the way up there with Norm Charbonneau as the #1 weathering experts out there.
Well, you know what? I want to learn to do it better, especially the graffiti part. I could take one of Greg's handy holders.
There you go.
And wait a minute, and put some paper down, and I can just take a can of spray paint or the actual spray gun and do it myself. But I think the uniqueness is, being able to do the graffiti, being able to do, that rusty look that works in the top parts of the cars and stuff. That I don't know how to do. And I definitely do not know how to weather engines. I'm too afraid I'm gonna ruin something.
I would say that weathering seems a lot more easier than the graffiti part, like you mentioned.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, it is something that I want to learn how to do myself. In fact, it's funny. My brother-in-law who lives in Oregon, he's a huge G-scaler, and he's got a beautiful, everything is handmade layout, all his bridges. It's got fountains and ponds, and it's just absolutely amazing. And he does all his own weathering by hand. And he does kit bashing, which you don't see a whole lot of, but he doesn't have anything that's store-bought. Everything is kit bashed, and it's all 1920s era, absolutely stunning work. But he gave me a whole passenger line set 2 weeks ago of G-scale, and they're all 40 inches long, 45 inches long. He gave me 5 cars, brand new.
Wow.
That wouldn't run on his tractor too long. And so as a gift, I ordered him a real nice airbrush set and a compressor and everything. And I surprised him and shipped it to him. So he's going to learn how to use an airbrush now.
Yeah, like I said, I want to get better at using an airbrush myself, because like I said, I'm addicted to running the trains how they really look today, and they're all weathered and rusted, and that's the way it should be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all this collection that I've been collecting for the last 6 months to design all these new handy holders, I have all these brand new trains, and they're all shiny and brand new out of the box. So I've got a lot of trains to practice on.
Yeah, it's time to dirty them up.
Absolutely.
Time to get them dirty.
Make them more look realistic.
Yeah.
Jim, I promise you, I'll send you the detailing handy holder as soon as they're manufactured. You'll be the first one to get one, and you can do a review on it.
I can't wait.
Cool.
Can't wait.
So for me, it's actually a split decision when it comes to weathering, because when it comes to my dad, he's not really that much of a weathering type of model collector. I don't really have like a problem with weathering whatsoever, because like I mentioned, it helps make your locomotives and rolling stock help make them look more realistic and more grimy. I mean, it's not really the look of a locomotive or a car getting ready for the scrapyard. It's just showing them what they would mimic in real life on how long they've been operating on the railroads for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also do have an airbrush myself, but unfortunately, the airbrush head that I have is not really the best type of quality. So at some point when I go back to Hobby Lobby, I would really like to try to spend my money and to find a much more better quality airbrush head that I can use for like my weathering and repainting and such.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing your work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We should also, I'm hoping someone will come on and do a live. I'm trying to talk Matt into doing it, where he could, demonstrate. But, sometimes, folks who want to make money in it, may not want to show us all their tricks.
That is true.
Right.
Wait a minute, because I'm going to keep it honest and real. Once you show me something one time, I'm going to remember it.
Mm-hmm. And therefore, it's no longer going to be a secret anymore.
Exactly. Excuse me.
Because we as collectors, we not only consider ourselves as model makers, but we also consider ourselves as magicians. And once we actually reveal what our secret tricks are, then it's no longer a secret, like I mentioned. It's all out in the public. So it's always best to leave everybody surprised and keep them wondering on how we do everything. But most importantly, just enjoy the magic at the same time.
Yeah. So very true. I think a couple of people know that I have created my own railroad line, the Gamble Central Railroad. And I have taken a couple of paint schemes that were already in place, like the old Western Maryland, the red, white, and black. And I took the old Lehigh Valley, as they call it, the skunk line, the black and white. And I took, and I tell this story all the time. I just got creative and I took sandpaper and I rubbed off, the Lehigh Valley or the Western Maryland name. And I took good old Tester's white paint with a ruler and painted over, where their name was. And then I got with microscale, and I had microscale, of course, bless their hearts. They wanted me to order 2,000 decals. So that's how my customized railroad got created. I got microscale decals. And actually, when you put them on, you can't tell the difference, whether they were painted on or decals.
Now you got 2,000. They'll be on your refrigerator and your car bumper.
Wait a minute. I've got so many decals. So think about it. 2,000 decals. You know how much rolling stock and engines that is? So
there you go.
Yeah, so that's my story of how I created my own rail line, that way. But like I said, the airbrushing and the graffiti is definitely something that I want to do in the future.
Very cool. Very cool. One of the things I was going to start with is my company logo that I've had since 1999, the one that you've all seen, the one behind me on the wall. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do a railroad that was Santa Clairita Railroad with decals that were miniature decals to go on O scale. And so that was the first thing I was going to start with, because it's too detailed for me to airbrush it or anything or whatever. But anyway, I thought, because now they've got the water decals that you can order plain and print them on an inkjet printer.
Really?
So, yeah. I'll find the link for you of where you can buy them. It's I'm not sure if it's Uline or who's got them, but they're readily available by 3M, and they're the real thin slide off water decals, and you just print them on your inkjet, and so you can do your own graffiti. You can go out and take a picture of a graffiti on a train that's parked and replicate it on your printer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would always say that taking a picture of something is always a good reference in case you ever want to model something on your layout.
Yeah.
Agreed. Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, tips and tricks. I've learned a lot in 5 months. And I'm collecting trains.
Now Greg, do you have a layout?
What you would learn in 5 minutes.
Right. No, I do not have a layout. I had a layout back in 2000 through 2010. I had 400 feet of G-scale.
Okay.
And I'm going to be retiring in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years and moving somewhere towards you guys and buying a piece of property, I hope, and building a G-scale setup. So I'm collecting track and trains and turnouts and goodies. And I'm deciding if I'm going to go DCC or I'm planning it all out now, and then put it in place.
Okay. Now, did I hear you correctly? You say you think about coming to the East Coast?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Well, I grew up in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Every summer, my dad worked for NASA.
Okay.
So I lived right on the beach, on the white sand beach in Cocoa Beach every summer growing up for 12 years. And I love the humidity. I love the atmosphere. And yeah, I'd like to go that direction.
Yeah. I thought you were a true like native Californian, you know. So
Oh, I
what I was
am,
thinking
but I'm
to
done
myself.
with. I've been here 58 years, and I'm ready for a change.
well, you know, Mike, real fast on my backstory. When I graduated college back in 1985, I moved out to Los Angeles, and I lived out in California for approximately 15 years before moving to Florida and then back to New Jersey. But the part of the California story is I always said that when I started working that I would always want, you know, some trains around the Christmas tree. So I'm the epitome of when I started buying trains, you know, that was going to start going around, you know, a Christmas tree. And then it turned into a 4x8, another 4x8, another 4x8. You know, it just kept growing. But Greg, I don't know if you remember, but way back in the day, there used to be, it was called the Allied Model Train Company in Culver City, California.
Yep. I've been there many times on
Yeah.
Sepulveda Boulevard.
And that right on Sepulveda Boulevard. And I lived in two places. I lived in Marina Del Rey and I lived in Culver City. And I am here to tell you that is the place that truly got me jump started. I mean, the real story is my grandfather gave me a set when I was 9, but Allied Model Trains is what started this addiction. They are the cause.
I used to go there once or twice a month, and then it turned into a camera store, Sammy's Camera.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it still is or not, but that's a historical building now because it looks like a train station, as you remember.
It does. My wife and I were out there last April. She had really never been to Los Angeles, so we did a Los Angeles, San Diego, Palm Springs kind of trip for a few days. Oh, I shouldn't say a few days, more like 10 to 12 days.
Nice.
But we did drive past the old Allied Model Train, and the building still stands. It's still in one piece.
Well, they can't do anything with it because it's been deemed as a historical landmark and with the architecture, so it can't change. So that's a good thing.
You know, I wish someone like a Lionel would like do something with that. You know, because Lionel was big with that company back in the day.
They sure were.
Yeah. You know, since you lived here in Los Angeles, did you ever go to the Whistle Stop in Pasadena?
Oh yeah, been there at least a dozen times.
So they're going on 75 years this year.
Yep.
75 years they've been there, and I'm meeting with them tomorrow. Fred's the owner, and I'm meeting with them at 1:00 tomorrow. They want to carry all the handy holders.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. Kind of excited. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to throw that story out. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say now, Jim. I know that you mentioned that you like both Lionel and MTH, but do you consider yourself more to be of an MTH collector or more of a Lionel collector?
Oh, very good question.
Because I've seen on your Instagram account that you mostly post just a lot of MTH equipment.
Yeah. So here's part 2 of my train story. So when I moved to Florida, I lived in a town called, Miramar, Florida, which was right outside of Miami-Dade. And I became good friends with the owner of Ready to Roll in Miami, Florida. And little did I know that the owner of Ready to Roll was close friends with Mike Wolf. And I remember going to the store one day and Mike Wolf was there. And I about lost it because, here's the owner of MTH. But to answer your question, I do joke and say that I'm an equal opportunity train collector. It is safe to say that I have an equal amount of Lionel stuff and an equal amount of MTH stuff.
Okay.
I kind of have to give the nod a little bit to MTH right now. I had a whole lot more of MTH stuff, but Lionel has caught up, is safe to say. And I'm real curious. I've got a couple of pre-orders from Atlas with some of their engines. And, some people will disagree with me, but, even though Atlas is Atlas, they're still using MTH's tooling. So I still consider them MTH engines,
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm going to say it's probably, I'm going to say 55-45 MTH. But my layout and my club layout, they're both. So if you guys ever came to visit, the way I designed my layout, I wanted it to be, well, if you've got MTH stuff, you can run it. If you have Lionel stuff, you can run it. So I have the DCS system with all TIUs and AIUs. And I also have the Legacy, Cab 2. So like I said, if you come to visit, you can run anything.
Interesting. I'm just learning about all this technical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, since we're on the topic of the Cap 2 system, I'm really curious to see how Lionel is really going to, really nail it with their base 3, system that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, I should say I'm on the fence about this because I don't, even when Cab 3 comes out, because it's going to be run through, your cell phone, I'm still quite pleased with their Cab 2 system.
Because I know that some of the guys from the 3 Rails 4 Dads podcast, that was actually one of the main topics on one of their episodes the last time I was watching them.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be in a real rush to jump to the Cab 3 right away. Now, the secret's out. Lionel did come to our train club, and Lionel did test their Cab 3, at our facility. And of course that went very well. But like I said, I still like holding a remote in my hand.
I do as well.
Call me old school.
Yeah, trying to do stuff on a smartphone these days is just gotten ridiculous. Jim, you're only a couple of years older than me, I think 3 years or something. I graduated high school in 84 and you graduated college in 84, so we're not too far apart. I'm trying to see my phone and my arms aren't long enough. There you go.
Call me TMCC any day.
Yep, there he goes. Good old TMCC.
Yeah. Definitely. That'll be the route I go.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, that is the wave of the future, everything through some type of device. I mean, more backstory, I'm a corporate employee for Verizon Wireless. So yeah, I'm very used to technology going through the phone, but I don't want to be playing with my trains and seeing, my emails and text messages coming through either.
That's a good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Very true.
Definitely. Where is your layout at home? Is your layout at home, Jim?
So I had been, so my personal layout is actually in my mother's basement.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So she made the great mistake of letting me have the basement.
Oh boy.
So it has become a storage, as well as I have an 8-foot by 12-foot layout in her basement. I want to expand, but unfortunately, I did a quick 10-second video, I think last week. It's kind of like, look at this mess.
You got
and the problem of expansion is it's also storage. I've been in the hobby for over 40 years. So, I've got just as many, I'm going to say the layout takes up half of the basement, but then the other half is, train boxes.
That's a lot of trains over 40 years, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You got yourself a great woman to spoil you, Jim.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got a great mom.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
best of the both worlds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Got a great wife too.
Good for
Make that
you.
the best of 3 worlds.
And Michael, what do you got behind you? That's your layout?
Yeah, so basically, I actually have 2 layouts behind me. They're both 4x8 pieces of plywood put together. Now, they're both kind of, the height of them are just slightly different. One's actually taller than the other. But at some point in the future, I'm planning to go back to Home Depot to get the correct set of horses that I have for the one layout behind me and put them underneath the second layout that I have all the way in the back of the train room here. So that way they're leveled much better.
Nice. And that's the set that we see running on your live cast.
Mm-hmm. Now this
Nice.
layout originally was from my basement from when me and my folks were still living up in New Jersey, been living there for 25 years, just as a little side note. But when I found out that we were moving, I was kind of a little bummed about it, but I was also kind of excited at the same time because I was really eager and not just excited, but I was also really pumped to get to start working on the blueprints for a new train layout. And even though this layout behind me is not as wide like my old layout is, the one thing I really like about living down here in Delaware is that not only do I have my layout upstairs, but you actually get a lot more light up here at the same time. So that way you're not turning on multiple different light bulbs or lamps here and there in a skanky basement. No, this is like a good place to run your trains, especially when there's carpet on the floor. That's always a really big A plus as far as I'm concerned.
Nice. Jim, did you hear that? The skanky basement.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was skanky, but I did love it at the same time, and a small part of me still kind of misses that.
I wish I had a skanky basement.
Yeah, you know what? My mom's basement is not finished, so it's all concrete. But one of the best things they did do is it has French drains. So when we do get a lot of rain up here in Jersey, I don't have to worry about any water getting in the basement. Now I do take preventative measures. A lot of the boxes are off of the floor, or like on like card tables and stuff. And I do keep a lot of my trains. Let's say if I want to run particular trains, I cut up special cardboard and I put them in, Rubbermaid bins, And the other cool thing to my mother's basement, she has those old doors. I used to call them like hurricane shutter doors, that open up to the outside. And it just makes life easier when you're trying to haul 4x8 boards down into a basement, that you can do it right outside from the backyard.
Sounds like you got it all figured out there.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So one of the products that we're working on right now designing is some carriers. The boxes you can buy at any train store with the foam inserts and so forth. But I haven't seen a whole lot of them that are real convenient, that are long lasting. So we are in the design stages with CAD drawings for designing for all the different sizes. But it's interesting, once you get to the larger sizes, you can only put so many in a box without it getting too heavy with a little handle or whatever. So you can you'll be seeing some designs coming out, and I'll run them by both of you before we finish any designing, so you can give us your feedback on them.
I'm gonna give you a quick one. The ones that I use today. So Home Depot has these 27 or 28 gallon like Rubbermaid bins.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why I use the 28 gallon is because, with the exception of, let's say, the auto carrier cars or stack cars, most of your rolling stock can go in sideways. And like I said, I use cardboard. It's very makeshift.
Yeah.
But I can put like 2 to 3 levels of rolling stock in these bins, and then I throw them in my car, and I'll take them to the club, and I'll bring them back. So I would love to have discussions with you about hauling trains, like that.
Sounds good. You're talking about the black.
That's another great idea. Yeah.
You're talking about the black tubs with the yellow lids.
Yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I can't even count how many I have in that basement, stacked on top of one another.
Yeah. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to make them, the ones that are out there in all the train stores that, they have a lid and a base and foam insert and so forth.
Right.
Once you start getting up to O scale and G scale, you can only carry so many at a time without,
exactly.
Got to have the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to design them instead of cardboard. We're going to design them out of Coriuplast, like a real estate sign. And that way they'll virtually last forever because they're weatherproof, waterproof. They don't peel, the edges won't peel, and we can print on them. I own a packaging company. That's why I do all this. I own Sequoia Packaging. And
now the secret is out.
Yeah. So what I do is I take all my manufacturers that make my packaging, and I come up with creative ideas for trains and motorcycle accessories with the same vendors. So I take Santa Clairita Railroad is an offshoot from Sequoia Packaging, and that's so I have designers and so forth, and so I come up with a napkin sketch, and then I go to town.
Yeah.
Bazinga.
Well, I look forward to conversations with you about hauling rolling stock.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Fantastic.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Cool.
So Ed mentions my basement floods, all train equipment and boxes are on the table.
Well, like we've been saying, I have found that these Home Depot bins, I'm not going to say they're waterproof, but if you get, let's say, 1 to 2 inches of water in a basement, I'm going to say your equipment will be all right in the short term, not the long term. And you can get creative, and you could do your first bin with nothing in it and then stack others that have your equipment in it to truly keep it from the water if you do get water in your basement.
Great idea.
Yeah.
First, I got to get a basement.
A nice skanky basement.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You just got to, what you got to do? You got to go down about 10 feet, and you got to put some concrete in there and some French drains, and you'll be good to go.
And
you could have like the furnace in one corner, and then you could have the workbench in another. You got like a little sink here and there.
There you go, Michael. You're right on it.
I'll never forget when we had Hurricane Sandy, and our basement was like a swimming pool downstairs, and thankfully nothing got damaged by any means, but it was almost just like walking in like in a swamp, like water all over the place. And I think it took us like maybe a day and a half to try to drain all the water out of there as best we could.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one downfall. If you have an old, I like our word tonight, if you have an old skanky basement, yeah, water can definitely be your enemy.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, here in California, we don't get much rain, so we don't really. We worry about other things, keeping them from getting squashed in an earthquake or, stuff like that.
And wait a minute, and I've lived in Florida, and you don't have basements in Florida either.
You don't really have that many basements in Delaware either.
Yeah, I'm gonna say basements may be a true Northeast thing. I don't know obviously every 50 states of homes, but I do know in the Northeast, like Jersey up to Maine, there's a lot of basements.
I mean, we do have crawl spaces down here, but not really that many basements, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if I were to ever move somewhere where they're having all these tornadoes, I would definitely build a house with a basement or a shelter or something that could be used as a train room and a safety place. But I guess, you go from earthquake to severe weather where you guys are. So I don't know where to go.
That's another great idea. You got a fallout shelter. and you got to make sure you got at least a 4x8 in the fallout shelter.
You know what's
You got to
also
have
funny
trains to play with.
Yeah.
You know what's also funny about living down here in Delaware is that we don't really have a whole lot of snowstorms down here.
Nice. I'm not a cold weather person. I don't like the cold. I'd rather deal with the humidity and the heat and the bugs rather than the snow and the cold.
Now, you see, I'm actually the opposite. Like, I would take the cold any day of the week as long as it's not too chilly outside, but it's not too warm. Like, somewhere in the middle is, the type of weather that I really like, especially if it's warm out. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need to go to Colorado.
Well, and I'll just throw my 2 cents. I grew up in New Jersey, and I went to college in Pittsburgh. So let's face it, the first 22 years of my life have been in cold weather climate.
In a skanky basement.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the word of the night, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Just in case anybody's wondering.
Yep.
Is that your mom's house? Is that the house you grew up in?
Yes, it is.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Wow. So we talked about weathering and what I need to create for handy holders so you guys can do your weathering more easily. And I need to come up with a carrying case for the large scale. And we got some other products that on your next show, when you invite me the next time, that I'll present. And by then I'll have samples and production runs of everything that we can present the next time you invite us.
Definitely. And actually, that's actually going to be my next question for you, Greg, because if you had any advice that you would give somebody who might want to start like a model train company, what would be your suggestions for that particular person who might want to get into a business like that?
Wow, that's a great question. To make a long story short, I've been running my own small company since I was 14 years old. Some of them not so small. And my wife and I kind of have it down now where when we come up with an idea, we get a name together and a logo and a bank account, or we add it to our existing LLC. And we've got it down now where you open up a bank account, you get your LLC, or however you want to set it up as a small corp or an S corp. It can be very simple and come up with a product and find a manufacturer, hopefully here in the United States, so you can stamp Made in America on it like we do. People like that. And find somebody that can manufacture it locally for you, so you can go right back and forth to whoever's making it, the factory or the shop that's making it, and come up with a product, somebody that'll make it in small quantities for you, just in case your idea doesn't take off and you're not stuck with a lot of inventory. Find somebody that'll work with you, a small machine shop or a foam shop or whatever it may be. Try to do as much work that you can yourself, putting together the company to save you money. Don't be extravagant. Don't go buy fresh flowers every day for your office. Don't go, don't go buy embroidered T-shirts and all the stuff you really don't need. But especially like if you can gear up for the train shows that are every spring all through the United States. All you need is a 6-foot table with a nice tablecloth printed with your company name and logo on it, and maybe a backdrop, and your product. And if you're willing to stand there behind a booth and present your product to everybody that's going to be at that train show is there to buy a product. And if you have something unique, something different, something that people want, or they didn't know they wanted it, but they find out that they need it, like a handy holder, then you're golden. And you just bring a truckload or a carload of inventory to each train show. And you can, the train shows are all in the spring. So you've got the whole year to gear up and come up with a product and get ready with your business cards and your flyers. And you can do it all on your own computer and take pictures. I do it all right here in my office, all my photography. And my wife puts together the flyers and the brochures and the business cards. And we do the train shows, and That's it. It's not that difficult. And there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to start up a small operation.
Very nice.
And then the Jim Gambles of the world come to those shows and just spend lots of money.
You got that right.
Or you're lucky enough to get free samples.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Free samples is always good.
Yeah.
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 Hey, Michael, one last thing, or another thing is I would like to give, I'm sure this show tonight is mostly O-scalers, being that you guys are O-scalers. So I have one brand new O-scale handy holder that I'm going to let you decide. It doesn't have to be right this minute. You can decide who you want to give it to. You can have a raffle, or you could do whatever you want, and you can come up with a winner, and we'll mail it out as soon as you let me know, and they'll get their handy holder and their lollipop.
Sounds like a good idea.
Jim, did you get your lollipop?
I did.
Okay.
It was gone while I was working on my SD24.
I'm actually saving my lollipops for a future video. Like, I want to see if I can try to make like a funny skit in one of my intros, so that way it's not like, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's not cliche.
Exactly.
So I put a lollipop. The reason there's a lollipop in there is because a couple times when I ordered stuff on Amazon, whatever it may be, I got a piece of candy with whatever I ordered. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I usually got a little note that said, thank you. Here's a piece of candy. And I just thought, wow, somebody went to the extra length to think of that and to thank me. And it's, it's a 5-cent lollipop, but we put one in every single package, and people love it. So there you go.
It's a great idea. And you know what else it reminds me of? When I was a kid, it seems like we don't go to the bank anymore. But I remember when my mom or my dad would go to the drive-up teller and do their banking, they would always hand you a lollipop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what goes through my mind of what you're doing a little bit.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That used to be the same thing with me when I was growing up in New Jersey with my family. Whenever we would go to the bank, they would always have like a little dish of lollipops, and I would pick out a couple here and there. I would either get green apple or watermelon or strawberry or root beer or orange flavor. I mean, they basically had them all. It was just so hard to pick a favorite.
Cool. Well, the bag of lollipops that I get, I think they're called Num Nums, and they're from the 50s. And there's 18 flavors in there. So when I'm packing boxes, or my people are packing boxes, every one I pick up, I have to make sure that every other one is a different flavor. And there's 18 flavors. And that's how nuts I am. Here's a guy, his bank still hands out lollipops. But yeah, so anyways, I hope you got a good flavor.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well,
two of the best
not only am I
actually.
a train junkie, but I'm also I love candy, so I'm a candy junkie as well.
Do you guys have See's candy on the East Coast?
Yes. See's. Well, wait a minute. You know what? I gotta take that back. I haven't seen See's candy, and you know what? When I said yes, I forgot that I was thinking that there used to be one in right near the Los Angeles airport back in the day, a See's candy. But no, not in. I haven't seen one in Jersey. No.
Neither have I.
The reason I say that is I read a story recently, and it's just a quick story, is that See's candy and Whitmere candy chocolate, they had an agreement back in the 20s that they wouldn't step on each other's toes. So See's candy is the West Coast and Whitmere's is the East Coast. And it's split right down the USA. And so I thought that was an interesting story.
Yeah. One of my favorite candy places, and Mike probably knows this place. My mother is from Maryland, and I've spent many a summer, and I still go down every year to Ocean City, Maryland. And I'm a huge Candy Kitchen fan. They have a candy store, as far as I'm concerned, on every other corner.
Yes.
In Delaware, to Maryland.
Nice. Nice.
And we actually do have a candy kitchen on Coastal Highway from, where I tend to go up to work every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a candy guy too. I try not to eat too much of it. I try to be healthy and keep my teeth in where they're supposed to be, but it's not always easy.
Yeah, once you get over 60, and Greg's feeling it now, or is going to be feeling it. All the doctor says to you is you got to watch your A1C. Every time I hear him say that just means I've got to cut out some kind of sugar.
For me, it's actually a little bit different because the only time I ever eat candy, and this is actually the only time that I ever do, is only during the holiday time, like either Halloween or Christmas, but that's pretty much it.
Mm.
Michael, if I had to guess, you don't have to answer. I would guess that you're 29.
Almost. You're
okay.
I will be 29 in another few months or so.
Wow.
That was good, Greg. That was real good.
You were definitely close though. I definitely give you all the credit, Greg.
I'll send you a lollipop. Hey, one more time, I want to give a shout out for Michael sending me this amazing refrigerator magnet. Did you print these?
I sure did. And if you guys, for those of you guys who are still watching us, if you guys are interested in a magnet, if you ever can come up to me at either the York shows or any type of train show that you go to, and if I'm there, I'll make sure to give you a magnet for free. But if you're still interested in letting me sending you one, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys want to DM me, you can follow me on either Instagram or Facebook, and we can work something out from there.
Nice.
Yeah, now that my son has graduated college, I'm gonna have to have him help me work on some merch, some magnets, some stickers, because I'm definitely inspired by both of you. I don't have any merchandise, and I think I got to add that to my repertoire.
Well, with as many followers that both of you have put together, and Jim, you've got, I don't know, 37,000 or 38,000 or something ridiculous. Some merch would be great, and I would be the first one to step up and take a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up with something before the year is over.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh, you can, absolutely. Think about it. You're asking me to make something that has a train on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Michael, when can we plan on, or myself anyways, plan on being back to visit you? Maybe in 5 or 6 weeks?
If you guys want to, but let me just, I actually want to finish up my story real quick. My really big inspiration came from, like I mentioned, 3 Dads, 4 Rails, that podcast that they usually do every month. And not only just them, but I've also been taking inspiration from Eric Siegel, because I saw him at the past York show last October, and he was super nice to talk to, and he actually gave me and my dad a few stickers as part of his advertisement. And I've also seen other YouTubers as well doing stuff like that. So I figured I really wanted to get in on the game on that. And I'm not really doing this for money by any means. I just really want to do it because I just want to share my channel with the rest of the world, and as well as the rest of the train community.
Well, you're doing a great job. I love
You're
your
doing
show.
a great job at it, without a doubt.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
And this show was exceptionally great because Jim was on it. It was kind of fun to have both of us on, and I've never been on the internet before in my life. And as far as my face, I have a hard time even hearing my own voice. So I don't sing in the shower or do any crazy stuff, but it's kind of weird.
I do that once in a while.
Once in a while. Yeah, it's kind of weird to see myself. I was really nervous actually, and I didn't know if I was going to know how to turn the camera on and the sound, and Jim or Michael kept telling me for the last week, you better just chill out. Don't worry about it. I'll send you a link and you'll be fine. And I was losing sleep over turning my computer on.
Well,
but here I am.
I was going to say, I'm in an industry where I do a lot of video calls. So, I'm used to it from that aspect, but this was my first time doing it from like a StreamYard / YouTube aspect. I am so used to, all the mainstream stuff, for work aspects,
Sure.
you know.
And also, the main reason why I like to do these videos on StreamYard is because I've been really good friends with Art from Art's Model Trains over the past couple of months. And he was the first one to ever mention to me about StreamYard. And I know that George from his channel, GFW, also does his videos on StreamYard. So I figured, why not just go ahead and give it a try? So I done it maybe like a couple of times here and there. It was a little hard to get used to at first, but now that I'm starting to do these videos a little bit more and more on StreamYard, the better and the easier it is to understand it.
And, Mike, I will admit, I did reach out to a couple of coworkers here at Verizon, and they did speak highly of StreamYard. So, it is very easy to use. It did help that you had a link for me to click on, but the app itself is very user friendly.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was actually also starting to become a problem for me when I was doing these regular live streams on YouTube itself, because there was one point where I dropped my phone on the floor, and all of a sudden it gave me a message on my screen that says you can't turn your phone diagonally anymore. You got to face it this way, or else your video isn't going to come out. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? And it was I can't even tell you how mind-boggling it was to see that on my video screen. Like, I really can't even unlock it, really. I mean, this is probably the closest I can ever get to unlocking the screen again.
I hear you. I'm not a tech guy at all. I won't be working for Verizon anytime soon.
I'm not a tech guy either, but I am starting to get used to, this type of social media, this type of technology, though. I'm getting used to it.
Well, Michael, thank you for breaking me in. My nerves are great, and I look forward to doing other programs or coming on with you the next time you invite me. Thank you for inviting me very much.
Yeah, definitely. I actually had a really great time talking to you guys tonight.
Yeah, I enjoy. Listen, I'm just gonna be honest. I will come on most times and talk about trains anytime.
That's music to my ears.
Yeah.
And don't forget, I'm gonna send you a link, SCRR15 for a 15% discount through tomorrow night at midnight for any of our products and multiples or whatever. And we have one free O scale. Actually, whatever scale the person chooses, they can have whatever they want. So, Michael, I'll leave that up to you. You can give away one on whenever you want. No hurry.
All
right.
I
really appreciate you guys helping me launch this company. And I'm really excited I'm actually going to come out and visit you guys, and I want to come see the big layout. And
anytime.
Yeah. Okay.
As I tell everyone who wants to come to see the layout, obviously give me some heads up, but I do have 24/7 access.
I would definitely like
to come see you're the guy.
Well. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the guy.
Right, so
well, I shouldn't say I'm the guy. I'm one of many, but a lot of the other members have access, but a lot of them are not doing social media. That's my one advantage of being part of the 60 something club, that I'm hip to all of this social media and internet talking. This is I think this is all fabulous.
Very cool.
I couldn't agree more. So guys, we still have like at least 2 to 3 minutes left. Is there anything else that you want to mention to everybody else who's watching out there before we, log off and end the stream from there?
I always do this when anyone asks me, listen, hey, if you're ever in the Northern Jersey area, New York, New Jersey area, give me a DM, and we are always a welcome mat to showing off our train club. Once again, the New Jersey High Railer Train Club is the largest O scale layout in the United States, and I do like showing off that room. That's my commercial plug.
Can we stay in your mom's basement?
Now she's gonna have a problem with that.
Okay, I thought I'd ask.
I mean, I don't really take up that much space, really. I mean, I guess you say I'm always
wait a minute.
flexible.
She'll definitely welcome you in to come and see it, but yeah, okay. she's not gonna have an Airbnb. I can tell you that.
Fully.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I look forward to coming out and meeting you guys. I'm gonna put it on my bucket list, my short bucket list, and yeah, I look forward to your next week, your episode next Thursday, Michael. I will be watching. And if there's anything I can do for you guys, or if you have any ideas for products or whatever, let me know what you got. And that's what we do is we have designers and we have manufacturers. And if I think it's the right thing, we're not out to make $1 million. We're out to have fun. And I love starting little businesses. And if it's something train related, I'm right there. So if you think of something that an invention, we call it ideas. We don't patent anything. We don't go that route. We just we have good ideas and we make it fun and we make it cost effective for people to buy our products. So keep the word out there. And if you know anybody that needs our product, give them our website. And we appreciate everything.
Very cool.
Sounds great.
And one last thing before we log off, where can everybody find you guys or get in contact with you in case anybody's interested in learning more?
Well, I'm at Santa Clairita Railroad.com is our website. And then my email address is Santa Clairita Railroad @gmail. So it's all the same. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry about that.
Oh, no. And I was just going to say, you can DM me easily at my Jim Gam, the Train Man, on Instagram. And my email is also jimgam14@gmail.com.
And as for me, you guys can find me on either Instagram or Facebook, or you can follow me here on YouTube at Railchief74. And my Gmail is pretty much the same as my channel, Railchief. It's called Railchief74@gmail.com. And if you guys are going to be going to any train shows down here in the Delaware area or up at York, make sure to DM me and maybe we can work something out. Maybe we can meet somewhere, have some lunch, get to know each other a little better. And as always, we always like to have fun here.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Mike. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Have a good weekend, you too.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.